Hey guys, welcome to the Onelife Podcast. Today we're talking why people wait on, where people tend to go wrong. I've got my ideas. I'll show you I've got your kind of 2 cents on how it happens.
All right.
But I'm a big believer. We're at school, we're active, we're playing sports, we're hanging out with friends,
Right.
We've got no responsibilities, we're not doing anything on the weekend. I was out surfing, I was out skating, girls are out hanging out with friends, they're active, they got home cooked meals. They're not worrying about money. They got no responsibility.
Keywords.
So what did you do when you were young?
Yeah, exactly what you're doing, honestly. That's the main thing about it. Whatever was not a priority, regarding like actual having to be an adult, like the whole adulting thing was not something that was existent at that time. We weren't focusing on anything at all, but having fun and doing what was fun for us.
You got meals cooked for you.
Yeah. And when you were saying what you're saying, my main thing I was thinking about was stress being non-existent.
I love being a kid.
Yeah.
I love being a teenager. I had so much fun.
Just no stress at all. Just
surfing all day, hang out with friends, eating whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And another thing too, you got metabolism on your side.
Yeah.
Metabolism is just cranking, especially as a guy in your teens and females.
Right.
And I'm a huge believer. It is very, 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 very hard work to put weight on as you're a kid, even a teenager. I feel like you really got to be trying pretty hard to get weight on.
Right.
Because you got so many good factors on your side, and somehow people are still figuring out how to do it, and it scares me. And what I feel like what happens, you finish school, you start studying, you go to college, or you get a full-time job,
Right.
and now 40 hours a week, generally you're probably sitting there. So rather than walking around school, playing sports, you're sitting down, you're stationary, you're typing,
Right.
you're not doing a lot. And then, hey, now I've got to cook my own meals.
Right.
Hey, I don't know how to cook, or I don't want to cook, so therefore you eat out. Most people, especially in America, I find is people buy the lunch, they buy the dinner, they don't cook, they don't. It's weird. It's uncool to take food to work with you.
Still.
And I'm sure you take food to work all the time with you, right?
Yeah, I don't count. I've always been that kid who's always brought things to school since I was a kid. But yeah, I see what you're getting at. Even as adults, a lot of us still think it's kind of like embarrassing or weird not to eat out, like not to Uber Eats.
Yeah, like you're poor or you're broke, or it's like,
it's still something that,
I mean, I'll take lunchboxes everywhere if I have to.
It's still that kind of stigma still.
So yeah, it's therefore you're not cooking, you're not doing much, and then a lot of us, I think 80% of us hate what we do for a living. So the weekend comes, or every night after work, what do? We start throwing down beers, start throwing back wine. We start partying with our friends, and I did it, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I was just lucky where I was going to the gym, and that gym kept me in control. I always had that priority. But if you're not going to the gym, you're not playing sport, you don't have any exercise passion, you're not doing much, you're eating crap, you're drinking on the weekends, and then early 20s, guys and girls start to put on weight, and I'm sure there's a million people out there who can relate to this.
Right.
And then it's just a downhill spiral from there, because nothing changes. You're not forced to go out and play sports.
Right.
Your job doesn't get any more active. You mentioned stress.
Yeah. I think the key thing you're saying is a lifestyle change. You go from like
A bad lifestyle change, right?
Full 180 turn. Like it's just everything. Like you said, bad lifestyle for sure. Like I'm hearing that the stress is non-existent to the stress is the priority, and then we're trying to cope with the stress. And our active lifestyle goes from active to just sitting down the entire time.
It's hereditary, right? Just,
So people who are like, oh man, when I was in high school and college, I was looking like you have age on your side, when really it's more so, in my opinion, it's more so the lifestyle changes as you get older for those, because there's people who look greater in their 50s than they did in their 20s. It's a lifestyle thing. So I think the main thing about it is figuring out a way to kind of balance out, having more priorities and being an adult, and then still being able to have that healthy lifestyle as well. We all know as you get older, your hormones decline.
Metabolism goes down.
Hormones meaning metabolism declining, levels of testosterone start to drop, which is your ability to build muscle, lose weight. But you can also maintain that too as well. We also, a lot of us too, when we have our college and our school done, we go into start our families, and our priorities no longer us, it's no longer the gym. Our priorities are taking care of family and being providers.
Yeah.
And that's a fair excuse to get a little bit of a dad bod going on, but at the same time too, if you can find that balance to where you can actually take care of yourself, because if you're not healthy and you die of a stroke and heart attack, your family is going to be left in as well.
And that was my next point, is like you start to put on weight at an early age, and then you get in a relationship, the two of you get comfortable,
Right.
They're a little podgy, you're a little podgy. Podgy turns into fat turns into obese.
Yeah.
You're comfortable with each other. No one's kicking each other's butt to get in shape.
Right.
And then, like you said, the kids come along.
Yeah.
And then your priorities really, really change. And we're both fathers, so we're not speaking from not being parents. Like we're both parents.
Correct.
It's like kind of like you're saying, it's making it important enough where you keep that lifestyle and you try to figure out a balance.
Right.
And then another thing too, as you get older, you put on weight, you get inflammation, little niggly injuries start to flare up.
Right.
What happens when you get injured?
Yeah, exactly.
The last thing you want to do is try to exercise, right?
More excuses.
So it's just this downhill spiral. So how do we balance it? You're in your 30s, I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
How do you balance it?
Yeah. I think the main thing is staying consistent, and like the word you always say, what's your why? I'll be honest too, like going on a side note, like when you say that a lot, what's your why? I was like, what does he mean, what's your why? I don't care about that. But now that I'm actually getting even older, I'm like, man, that's a big deal. Like what's your, like what's actually your actual motivation daily? What's keeping you actually going towards that goal? And if it's your family, like we're fathers and we have be providers as well. If your why is to take care of your daughter or to take care of my son, and that's a pretty big reason to actually
it's a good why.
Stay why. And then a lot of us don't really figure out what our why is until we have that health scare. You can have a heart attack or a stroke and be like, shit,
health scare, like everyone's going to get it. That's the problem.
That's the thing about
if you're lucky, it could be a heart attack.
Yeah, that's
and then you don't get the health scare, you get the death.
Yeah,
there's no coming back from that.
So a lot of us, we have someone close to us, whether it be a grandpa or a grandma that has a death in the family and they die, and you realize, man, that could have been me because I'm not as healthy.
Yeah, that might be a wake up call. And that if you're lucky.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. And that's one thing I have a lot of respect for the very, very few percent of people actually are in the military, like Marines, for instance. Their job is to defend the country, maintain an active lifestyle. If they're married, keep their marriage. If they have kids, be fathers and mothers, while doing all the above, so like if I had to choose who I think is my why or like someone who I'm actually really look up to now is my father. The fact that he was a badass Marine drill instructor and stayed in shape, running X amount of miles every single day, doing his deployments overseas, taking care of I have 4 brothers, so taking care of all 5 of us. Too. And then while him being in tip top shape still, when I'm thinking myself as a kid, I'm like, I'm in shape too, Dad. I don't need that's easy to do. Meanwhile, he's defending our country and then still taking care of all of us and being normal at home like a father, but still been going back to being a badass Marine. So that's one thing too. It's like if you don't have, then for him and military people in general, their job is to be an active lifestyle while working their computer job, while doing everything else too. So that's just a lot of it's a lot of dedication for those people to do.
Yeah.
If you are not in the military and your job isn't to be in shape, but being out of shape is something that's going to actually be detrimental to you because you have a family and people to provide for still, you need to figure out your why. And your why should be because I need to live for my family and for myself, and if I'm not in shape or taking care of myself, then I'm not going to be around for too long, and there goes my life. I'm not going to be around.
Yeah, you don't get to walk your daughter down the aisle, or you don't
very key.
See kids graduate,
and it's sad that a lot of us
see grandchildren, which is a huge one.
That's
right?
Big too, and it's sad that a lot of us don't really have that wake up call until something happens dramatically. It's just it's unfortunate. So,
and I think the way I looked at life is I like to balance it by 25%. So fitness, finance, family, fun. I try to balance my life 25%. But that's just my way of doing it. Cool. It's not something I've ever read or learned. That's just kind of how I've broken it down for myself.
Nice.
And it's always fluctuating. The slayers are always going up and down. Business is kicking butt, finances are going great, and then my fitness starts to suffer because I'm lacking time.
Yeah.
Or I'm putting it all in with the family, and now the finances going down and the funds going down.
Right.
So it's very hard to balance that. But I think it's very important for me that I always keep that in mind. Okay, making too many podcasts, working too hard, I'm not having any fun. Okay, what makes me happy? What's fun for me? And trying to balance that.
Yeah.
So that's my way of doing it. And that's going back to figuring out your why. That is the why for me.
Right. I think the key word is balance, you said too, like having a balance. Like people, this country we'll talk about too, because other countries they have mandatory to where they make you go on holiday and actually relax and de-stress. This country, a lot of us just work, family. There's no kind of relax. There's no R&R. A lot of us can't afford to go on vacation with our families.
Yeah.
And you need to have that balance to where you can actually be a father and spend time with your family, and then also be a workaholic and then go to the gym. And it's like, how do you find that balance though? And I think it's just something that we have to just make practical, realistic, actual steps on what we can do, what's feasible for us. Even if it's going on trips once a year, it can be somewhere locally, it can be somewhere out of state, but a lot of us don't have enough time to where we just get to de-stress, and that's something that's actually going to be very detrimental to our health if we're constantly working, because we know that's going to lead to stress. Stress is not healthy for us. Stress can cause heart attack and stroke and death as well.
And in this country, it seems like to work harder is what you do. It's the cool thing to do. It's what's preached. It's what on social media. I sleep 4 hours a night and I hustle.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a saying: when you're on your deathbed, no one ever wishes they worked more. Nobody ever wishes for more money.
Right.
They wish for more family time,
more life,
spending time more with family, doing more.
Right.
The only thing Gary Vee says this all the time: when you're on your deathbed, the only thing you got is regret. You talk to any old person, the only thing they got is regret. Things they didn't try, things they didn't do, worry about other people's opinions, not taking action. Regret.
I like that.
When I get old, I don't want to have any regret.
Right.
So, yeah, maybe your finances need to come down a little bit so you can have more fun, or maybe you need to find a job that you like, which fits into your fun. Yeah. Whatever it is, I love what I do for a living, therefore I've kind of got that figured out.
Right.
So, but there is a stat that 80% of Americans hate what they do for a living. 8 out of 10 of us live paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
It's stressful, it's not fun, it's not getting anybody happy.
Yeah.
So it's being aware of these little things. And then also short-term goals, right?
That's the thing too. Yeah.
Like finding something that keeps you motivated.
Major, just small steps. Yeah. I think a lot of us too we get stuck in our comfort zone, and a lot of us don't want to branch out to something. We don't take that leap to maybe something better.
It's safe and it's comfortable there, and your influence and your surroundings and your family and your spouse are in that comfort zone.
That's the main thing that keeps a lot of us from our health and our goals and being able to actually accomplish more than we actually are. Is just getting out of your comfort zone, being comfortable being uncomfortable. That's something we got to work on, and it's a lot easier said than done, obviously, but just kind of implementing one thing at a time. Maybe even having a note to where you maybe make a step once a month to what you want to change, each month, something small. Everyone has their own things they need to work on, and a lot of us just need to just take a break and sit down and see what we need to focus on and what's actually the importance in their lives, and if it's actually being made a priority or not. And a lot of times we wake up and realize that, man, this is what I want to focus on. I'm not even focusing on it.
And I guarantee if you sit there and think about what we just said on how you ended up where you are,
right?
It's a lifestyle change, like you said. Your life went from this bit into a completely different lifestyle. Now to pull it back, you need to change your lifestyle, which means you need to increase the amount of exercise you do. You need to eat healthier. You need to make that a priority. You need to be aware of your surroundings, who you hang out with, who you don't hang out with. The average American reads less than one book a year. And you got the average CEO who reads 60 books a year. So that's another thing. Like, hey, I don't know how to do this, or hey, maybe I can pick up a book or audiobook, a podcast, start listening to this information, educate myself on how to get to those goals that I'm trying to do. Then setting goals. There's this saying, like, average millionaire sets and reads goals every single day. Most people, don't have goals, never write them down, never alone read them. I get goals in my office above my desk, which I read every single day. Consciously, subconsciously, they're just there.
It's got to be done that way. It's not really a way around it, but that's the thing that kind of is like a make or break for most people. That circles back around to being in your comfort zone. It's something that takes you going out of your comfort zone to do that. I'm sure for you, especially doing that every day, it's easier just to kind of not worry about those kind of things, but it becomes more of like an actual regimen for you for doing it all the damn time. It will eventually be something easy for you, and then you can go into the next goal and the next goal. But simple things like, if you use the excuse like, us being fathers, I have to spend time with my family, you can involve your family in exercise. You can have dinner every night and actually go for a 10-minute walk with your family. That's something you can do to get that exercise, help drive the nutrients to your muscles so you can avoid having that extra fat. And then it's also good because you can have your family, you guys can have have a conversation while you guys walk, you know, or something you can do.
Yeah, or cook together healthy foods,
that
or
too, yeah.
whatever it is, whatever it takes.
Just effort is the main thing. People don't make the effort, and we know life's hard right now, but it's just more so just doing one thing. Like tonight, I'm gonna make dinner with everyone, or tonight I'm gonna go for a walk. Just making the effort is the key word.
So just kind of sitting down, having a conversation with yourself, figuring out what your why is, making it important enough in your life where you're going to take action before it's too late.
Before,
yeah.
Way before.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.